If the government decided to take £150 off your electricity bill this winter, how do you think you would find out? Take a second with that. A letter, you might say. A call from the supplier. An announcement read out slowly on the news. Here is the actual answer for around 6 million households in this country. You would find out because it quietly happened. The discount lands on the bill by itself, with no form to fill in and no queue to stand in. Which sounds like good news, and mostly it is. But it rests on something almost nobody talks about. Whether that money reaches you is settled, in effect, by a photograph. On a single day this August, a government computer will look at who is receiving certain benefits, take its snapshot, and build the winter's list from what it sees. One day, if your name is where it needs to be on that day, the machine does everything for you and you can forget you ever watched this. If it is one step away, through a claim you never made because you assumed it was for somebody poorer, the machine looks straight through you, and the coldest months of the year cost you £150 more than they cost the house across the road. Same street, same pension, same weather. The difference is a list, and today is about getting you on it while there is still time to do it calmly. The scheme in question is called the Warm Home Discount. It has been running for years, it has just been guaranteed into the next decade, and this winter it reaches around 6 million households, which is far more than it used to. It applies in England, Wales, and Scotland, with a wrinkle in Scotland I will come to, and I want to say plainly for viewers in Northern Ireland. This particular scheme does not operate there, and pretending otherwise would waste your evening. If we have not met before, I am not a financial advisor, and I sell nothing. I read the government's paperwork from end to end, the consultation documents included, and then I tell you what it says in plain words, no jargon, the way a neighbour ought to. This channel exists because the system never rings anyone to explain itself. If that is worth having in your corner each week, subscribe and you will not miss the update when the official dates are stamped this autumn. Before we go on, 2 promises. There is a list of exactly 7 benefits, any one of which opens this discount from this winter, and I will read all 7 slowly, because at least 2 of them are going to surprise people who were sure they did not qualify. And I want you to meet Frank, who is 77, who looks after his wife Eileen with her arthritis, and who told his daughter last year that schemes like this are for other people. Frank is the reason I wrote this one. Let us get the machinery straight, because the mechanics are where the peace of mind lives. The Warm Home Discount is worth £150, and it is a discount, so the money is never posted to you and never appears in your bank account. Your electricity supplier takes it off your bill. If you pay by direct debit, the bill simply shrinks once the credit goes on. If you use a prepayment meter, the supplier can send you a voucher to top up with instead, so meter households are in, and always ask if the voucher has not arrived by the new year. One quiet condition is worth a glance. The discount rides on your electricity account, and it works through suppliers who take part in the scheme. The government's Warm Home Discount pages keep the list of participating suppliers, so if you have switched to a small or unfamiliar company in the last year or 2, spend 1 minute checking the name is on it, because the neatest claim in the world cannot land on an account outside the scheme. The scheme reopens in October, and the letters confirming who gets it go out over the late autumn and around the turn of the year, with the credits themselves applied across the winter. So there is nothing to do in October, no window to race for, no queue outside anyone's office. The whole design runs on a different clock, and that clock is the August snapshot we started with. 2 reassurances while we are here, both straight from the government's own pages. Getting this discount takes nothing away from anything else. Your winter fuel payment is unaffected, and so are cold weather payments. And on the government's own figures, 96 in every 100 qualifying households get the money automatically, matched from benefit records, without lifting a finger. The machine for once mostly works. The question is only ever whether you are inside it. Now the list, and I am reading it from the government's response document published this January, the paper that sets the rules from this winter to the start of the next decade. In England and Wales, from this winter, there is one single qualifying group, and you are in it if the name on the electricity bill or their partner is receiving any one of the following on the qualifying day: the guarantee credit part of pension credit, the savings credit part of pension credit, housing benefit, income-related employment and support allowance, income-based job seekers allowance, income support, universal credit. 7 keys, 1 door, and I promise surprises, so here they are. For years, the version of this scheme most pensioners half remember is the strict one: guarantee credit or nothing. That rule is gone. Savings credit on its own now opens the door, and there are pensioners all over the country with a small works pension who get a few pounds of savings credit and assume it counts for nothing. It counts for £150. The second surprise is housing benefit. If you rent and housing benefit helps with that rent, you are on the list, full stop. No separate test about your heating costs. There used to be an extra hurdle about whether your home was expensive to heat. That hurdle has been dismantled, which is precisely why more than 2.5 million households joined the scheme's reach. The Energy Secretary, Ed Miliband, put the government's case in one line: tackling the affordability crisis is the government's #1 priority. Fine words, and for once they arrive with a check attached, or rather with 7 keys, and my job is making sure one of them is in your pocket by August. Scotland, as promised, runs its version differently for now. Those on guarantee credit are matched automatically, and others on a low income have had to apply through their energy supplier each year. From this winter, the Scottish scheme is being rebuilt so that far more people, around 345,000 families, get it automatically as well. If you are in Scotland and on a low income, the safe move is still to ring your own supplier and ask about the warm home discount this autumn from the number on your bill. So, to the day itself. Eligibility for this discount is judged on a snapshot date, one fixed day, set each year in an official statement. Last year, the camera clicked on the 24th of August. This year, council advice pages around the country are already printing the 13th of August, and the confirmed date will be published with the scheme's opening. I am careful with that distinction because you deserve to know what is settled and what is not. The exact day is not yet stamped, and the month is not in doubt. What matters is this: the picture is taken in August, before the scheme opens, before the letters, before a single flake of snow. Waiting until October to sort yourself out is the classic mistake, because by October the photograph is already in the album. Now the honest softener, because I promise not to build false panic. If you claim pension credit a little late, the claim can be backdated by up to 3 months if you ask for it on the form. It does not happen on its own. A backdated award that covers the snapshot day still counts, and there is a helpline route listed on the government's warm home discount pages once the scheme opens for people who become eligible after the letters go out. So August is the deadline for doing this calmly, and the autumn is the deadline for doing it at all. Calm is better, which brings me to Frank. Frank is 77, a retired delivery driver, and these days his main job is Eileen. Her arthritis has closed its fist over the last few years, and Frank does the stairs, the shopping, the kettle, the buttons on her cardigan sleeve. Money is tight in the way that never quite becomes an emergency. The heating goes off at 9, the tin of paint for the hall has been postponed twice, and in a savings account sits a little over £9,000, built 50 pence at a time across 2 working lives, which Frank calls the bit put by, and which is the exact reason he has never applied for anything. His daughter mentioned pension credit last year. Frank said what half the country says: "We have savings, love. We would not get a penny, and I am not filling in forms to be told no." There was a second sentence underneath that one, unspoken, and I suspect some of you know it word for word. Forms are how you get looked into. A lifetime of never owing anybody anything builds a kind of flinch around official envelopes, and the flinch costs real money, year after year, in houses that earned better. Here is what Frank had never been told: £10,000. Savings at or under that line have no effect on pension credit at all. None. The bit put by does not count against him until it crosses 10,000, and even then it only counts gently, £1 of assumed weekly income for every 500 above the line, and you are only disqualified when the sums say so overall. A couple like Frank and Eileen can hold their nest egg, their pride, and a pension credit award all at the same time. And the reason this video tells his story in July is sitting back in that August photograph. If Frank makes one phone call this week and the claim succeeds, then by the time the camera clicks next month, his name is where the machine can see it, and everything after that happens to him instead of being asked of him. That phone call is the single action of this whole video, so let me put it in the middle of the table and leave it there. If your income is modest, or you look after someone, or you simply do not know where you stand, check pension credit this week, before August does its counting. It tops up a single person's weekly income to £238, and a couple's to £363.25, and those figures alone would justify the call. But pension credit is not really one benefit. It is a key that opens a corridor. Behind the first door, the weekly top-up itself. Behind the next, this winter's £150 discount, automatically, through the snapshot. Further along the corridor, help with rent for those who pay it, a free television license from 75, cold weather payments when the temperature bites. People turn down the key because the first door alone looks small. Nobody would turn down the corridor. The claim line is 0800 99 1234. There is an online form if you have already claimed your state pension, and a paper one if you prefer, and the form has a box for backdating, so tick it and say how far. Have your national insurance number, your income figures and that savings balance to hand, and let them do the arithmetic. Worst case, you are told no and you have lost half an hour. And if the answer for you personally is no, remember the door has 7 keys and pension credit is only 2 of them. Renters helped by housing benefit are on the list in their own right, and so is anyone in the house on universal credit, which catches more mixed age and working households than people assume. Place yourself against the whole list before you decide this video was about somebody else. I will come back to what the call did for Frank before we finish. The warning block, and with a scheme this size, it matters. Every winter, as the discount letters go out, the copycats go out with them. So hold on to how the real thing behaves. The real discount is applied by your supplier to your bill. Nobody needs your bank details to release it or to speed it up, because it never travels through your bank at all. The real letters confirm. They do not ask. A text or an email with a link inviting you to claim your warm home discount is a fake, and the link is how you know. A caller who says you qualify and just needs your card to process the credit is a thief with a warm voice. If you want to check anything, go to the government website yourself by typing it. Or, in Scotland, ring your supplier on the number printed on your own bill and no other. Real money owed to you does not interview you first. Let me fold the whole thing into one short sit-down. Look at your electricity bill and check whose name is on it, because the discount follows the bill holder or their partner. A bill still in a late husband's name is worth fixing this month, for this and for a dozen other reasons. Then place yourself against the list of 7. If any of those benefits already comes into your house, you need do nothing except watch the post from late autumn and query it with your supplier if nothing has landed by the new year. If none of them does, and money is tighter than your pride likes to admit, make the pension credit call this week, backdating box and all, so that August finds you in the picture. If forms and phone menus defeat you, sit down with Citizens Advice, who will go through it for nothing, or ring Age UK, whose benefits check takes minutes and regularly finds money people had walked past for years. None of this is begging, it is collecting. Frank made the call in the end because Eileen told him the heating going off at 9 was her business too. It took 40 minutes and 1 follow-up letter. The award was not enormous, a top-up each week that sounds modest until you multiply it by 52. And behind it, quietly, the corridor, the television license they were already paying for, and, come this winter, £150 off the electricity without Frank touching a thing, because when the photograph is taken next month, his name will simply be in it. The bit put by is still put by. Nothing was surrendered except a story he had been telling himself for 10 years, the one where the door was locked to people like him. The door was never locked. It was closed, and nobody had told him where the handle was. Somebody in your street is Frank. Somebody at your church or at the other end of your phone book is heating one room and sitting on a claim they have never made. Send them this video. It costs you nothing, and it may be the warmest thing anyone does for them this year. If you want the follow-up when the official date is stamped and the letters start moving, subscribe and ring the bell. And tell me in the comments, honestly, did you believe savings shut the door? And has anyone in your family walked past this discount? I read every comment and they steer what I dig into next. Keep your eyes on the post and your hand off the panic button. I will see you in the next one.